to be the night of all nights with my boy here on the red carpet, Paulie Malignaggi. How are you tonight, sir?
The bad guy's back. I'm here in the flesh. I'm good.
First off, I got to ask you how your hands are, because we're all wondering about that.
My hands look okay. They're so as far as the way they're feeling, all right. As long as I'm not hitting anything, I think my hands are okay. It's just when I start hitting stuff that my hands give me problems.
All right. I really appreciate you taking time to talk to me. I know you're a really busy guy. The first thing I want to ask you about is fans want to know, you coming back to Bare Knuckle or no?
I think it's a really, really exciting way to take your career and be fighting. I think as far as from my perspective, it was a fun experience. I would do it again, but I can't trust my hands. I can't risk putting myself in a position where I'm gonna be that arthritic or that kind of handicap feeling as I get older, because I have injuries from boxing. Everybody goes through injuries from combat sports, but I think the bare knuckle was just a little bit heavy on my bare hands. I was the kind of fighter who always had problems with gloves on, so I think bare knuckle was really caused me a bit of an issue. I loved the whole atmosphere of it. Don't get me wrong. I think the crowds are great. I think the promotion was fun. I think credit to Artem and everything as well for being a worthy opponent. But I think it was just something that was really heavy on my hands. Afterwards, it took a while to kind of get that feeling back into my hands. It wasn't just the injuries, but it was kind of some nerve damage as well. So especially my left hand. So I like being the person that's in the crowd now. The fan, the person that can enjoy this from a different perspective and not just being a fighter.
I think you bring up a good point, because one of the things that we're really trying to educate our viewers about is the fact that bare knuckle is different, and injuries are a big issue, and strategy is a big role. So would you help explain to our new fight fans, which we have a couple new states, by the way. Hello, Birmingham. Hello, Wichita. Hello, New Mexico. We're coming to see you, everybody. And talk to us a little bit with the new fight fans about really the difference as a legendary boxer, hello, Paulie Malignaggi, what the difference is for the fan to understand, because it is really different, is it not, sir?
Yeah, first and foremost, your hands are not as protected. So there's one thing that is a bit of a misconception is, people think it's a lot more brutal. It's more bloody, but bloody doesn't necessarily mean brutal. I think brutal means, taking more internal damage and really taking damage that will stay with you. And I don't think bare knuckle allows you to load up as heavy of shots as it does with boxing gloves. See, professional boxing has just enough padding to protect you and allow you to load shots, but not enough padding to protect you when the shots land. It's a professional boxing gloves, not sparring gloves, the boxing gloves. But as far as bare knuckle is concerned, your hands are light, your hands are bare. You want to really load up your shots, but as soon as you start loading up a couple of shots, your hands are going to start hurting. So there's a lot of strategy there, because you can't load up the same way you would want to if you were wearing in a regular boxing match where you have professional boxing gloves protecting your hands. So you kind of have to learn to take a lot of stuff off most of the punches and really really position yourself correctly. That's where I made the mistake. Round 2 of my fight, I threw too big of a shot. I saw an opening. I got greedy with it, because I thought it was such a big opening for me that I could load up a shot. With my mentality of having boxing gloves on, when you see an opening like that, you shoot as hard as you can, and I broke my hand on his forehead. So it's something that takes some adjusting, but I think it takes some adjusting for everybody, because I'm sure in MMA there's a lot of adjusting themselves. These guys are coming in kicking and wrestling. All of a sudden they can't do that either. So I think it's an adjustment for everybody, but that's part of the fun, and that's part of what brings you the adrenaline. You're kind of stepping into the unknown a little bit, and you get to figure out what you got inside.
I asked you earlier, VIP, by the way, but I can't tell you because then I'll get in trouble with telling you what he said. If you had to pick a dream match, do you think a boxer coming over? Come on, Paulie, you know I'm going to have to ask you this because you are the boxing magician. If you had to pick a dream match of a regular boxer coming over, you could choose anybody to come to bare knuckle, who would it be?
As far as not as an opponent of mine, but
no, just any two. Well, come on, Paulie. We're going there. Where would you say?
I think a boxer that would have a lot of success in bare knuckle is somebody like a Sean Porter, because BKFC allows you anybody. I think I would take Sean Porter against anybody here, because he's the kind of guy that will maul you as far as wrestling is concerned. He's an ex-high school wrestler, and he'll maul you in there, and BKFC allows that kind of mauling. And also, I think his hands are strong enough to deal with the barehanded punching of BKFC. But Sean has a lot going on in boxing, but I think as far as stylistically is concerned, I think he's a guy that would have a lot of success in this kind of sport.
How does it make you feel knowing that you and Artem put bare knuckle on the map? You must be really proud about that.
Well, you know what? I think we brought it back on the map. I think it's a very old sport, so it's the kind of sport that people were watching 100 years ago. But I think to have brought it back in a way and have really gotten eyes glued back on it, I think it felt pretty good. I think we both kind of knew that going in, and that was part of the fun and getting everybody involved and getting everybody talking about it. And it's definitely, I've had many experiences in my career. Some great, some not so great, but nonetheless, they're all experiences that you can look back on and say, wow, I did that. And sure enough, bare knuckle is one of those things where I'll be able to look at it and say, I did that too. That's pretty cool.
Before we go today, Paulie, is there anything you want to promote?
Nah, man, not really. I don't really do the podcast anymore. I would promote my podcast, but I never have time to do it. So I'll say, I don't know, follow me on Instagram.
What about your social media? Come on, buddy.
Social media, Instagram, Twitter, at Paulie Malignaggi. You can find me there. But that's it. That's about it, man.
Don't you think you should spell that for people who might have a problem that aren't Italian like us? Pizza. Come on, Paulie.
At this point, everybody's supposed to know Paulie Malignaggi if you're going to follow me.
You better follow Paulie. Spell it again, Paulie, please.
Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie Malignaggi. Check me out.
It's always a pleasure and an honor, sir. Thank you so much.